I would now like to add sloping ground to this drawing. To do this, I click on the actual Add Slope Tag icon on the toolbar. Click on that, select the line for the slope tag. So in this example, I'm going to start off at -4 meters. Of course, this is all relative. If I go back to the iScaf setup command via the pull down menu or the toolbar, it's all relative because the top lift height or the top deck will be at 6.5 meters and the jacks at the bottom would normally sit at 0. Sloping ground will override this. So once again, I click on the slope tag, I click on the line, and I say we're going to have a slope, well basically we're going to have a starting position of -4 meters. And I'm just going to type in 1 to make it 1 millimeter away from the wall, because the rule is you cannot have a slope tag at the end of a line. So that's now -4. I press spacebar to add another slope tag. Remember that spacebar always repeats the last command, and I'm going to keep that at -4 and up to about this position here. As you can see, that's about 18 meters along. If I wanted to, I can actually type in 18 meters. If I want the slope to actually then just step right up to maybe -1.5, again, spacebar, select the line, we're now at -1.5, and putting two slope tags close to each other means it'll actually either step up or step down. In this case, step back up to -1.5. So this is going to be 18 meters and 1 millimeter. So here we have the tags there as shown. Finally, I press spacebar again and we decide to just slope back to 0. So 0, and that'll be pretty much towards the end of this line on the right here. And there's our sloping ground. Now, I can actually draw walls pretty much anywhere I want and have separate sloping ground. For example, I'll just draw pretty much any other line anywhere I want. So I can do something like this. So I'm going to have a wall pretty much going just around this corner. So again, press enter to finish the line, and once again I'm going to add some slope tags. So again, slope tag of 0. I might decide to actually slope all the way up above the ground. So I might actually go to 2 meters. So now it's going to be 2, and we're going to go a little bit above the ground, and then we're going to slope on this wall here, and we're going to make it quite steep. We're going to make it go maybe -7, and just click there. Again, remember, I can type the distance or I can manually click. Now the trick to all this is to go into the actual setup and where scaffold type is auto building, the slope tags will work on a closed building structure. Multiple walls is what we're doing here, is where we have separate walls in different positions on the drawing. In other words, it's not a closed full building perimeter. So we select multiple walls and we click OK. We can now build the plan according to these lines based on multiple walls. So we click on Build Plan and we window the first set of walls, right click, and then window a second time to make sure the sloping ground is selected. I'm going to press spacebar now, and I'm going to do the same thing to be repeated for this other two walls. Build plan, and I window. This time I need to sort of window it in 2 steps to get around those other bays there. So I've windowed those other ones, and I'll do the same thing again to make sure that I can select the sloping ground. Just make sure that that's selected and right click. Now of course I can continue to edit these bays as I normally would, so I can add a bay. So I might put a 1 meter bay in there, press spacebar, replace that one, might put a 1 meter bay in there, and continue the editing as normal. When I look at the view in 3D by clicking on this view 3D option, we can actually see our sloping ground represented as a red line. So I can scroll this around and have a good look to make sure it's doing what I expected, and in this case it certainly is. So it starts at -4 meters, it stays at -4 meters, then it steps up immediately to -1.5 meters, and then back to 0, going around that corner. And for this line we go from 0 to 2 and then -7. So as part of our good habit, we should do our normal save. So we will now select the toolbar option to save as. We'll give this a name. And then we build 3D. So as you can see, the scaffold is now following the sloping ground that we defined on our drawing. So in summary, use multiple walls if you have walls in different parts of the drawing which are not joined, or use auto building if you have lines that are all joined together forming a closed building perimeter. That concludes this presentation in relation to multiple walls and drawing with sloping ground.